Hello everyone, Dr. Chris Martinson here, and I'm scared, and I'm hopeful. Come on, let's find out why. Hi, as I mentioned, I am scared, and I'm hopeful. Recent events have revealed really dark shadows and even darker actors on the world stage, and there are times when I feel overwhelmed by it all. It's time. It's time for all of us to recognize what's actually happening here and then take action to protect ourselves and our loved ones. And I'll be blunt. The future needs rescuing. You might think I'm referring to all the recent political drama in the U.S., which it's concerning. Don't get me wrong, but it's not my top concern. Not by a long shot. My concern begins here. I've been covering the COVID pandemic for nearly it's a year now. I'm quite proud of both the accuracy and the helpfulness of the information I brought to the world, free of charge, I should say, free of nearly all advertising revenue, because Google decided and YouTube decided that they had to demonetize all of this. But I gotta be clear, my motivation always wasn't the money. It was to use my skills as a researcher and a sleuther to find out what's going on so I can help people both understand and respond effectively to the unfolding events. However, I found my ability to reach people increasingly stifled along the way by a disinterested media in an openly hostile social media environment. I've received exactly 0 media interview requests since May. My accounts have been shadow banned at Twitter and elsewhere, and worse, as you know, censored too. While those of you subscribe to this channel repeatedly tell me about being silently unsubscribed by the helpful YouTube mothership, my viewer count skyrocketed through spring of 2020, right up until the first episode where I mentioned the drug which shall not be named, or Dwizabin. Look, everything gets dark around that, right? And the viewer count's been pretty much flatlined ever since. I'm not bemoaning any lost fame here. I'm simply pointing out the degree of disinterest, if not hostility, by the system for reliable and actionable COVID information. I mean, it's weird, right? You'd think that we're all in this together, and that those who risk their reputations but do their homework and then take the time to educate other people, that would gather more positive attention than outright resistance, right? That's not how any of this worked. At least not at the institutional and corporate levels. Y'all have been great, and I'm very appreciative and thankful and grateful for your support and feedback. It's been amazing. But at the institutional levels, instead, what's been revealed is the extent to which many of the medical systems throughout the world are shot through with corruption, misaligned incentives, negligence, and just plain old incompetence, I guess. I mean, what an eye-opener, right? In some respects, I'm actually glad of that, because now I'm in control of my own terrain. That is, my body's own natural immune fighting mechanisms. And this is that's a positive outcome of all this. It certainly is. But it's not the best part. Although I do like to be healthy, the best part, by far, is that this work has allowed you and I to find each other. It's allowed those of us who like to reason and think critically to be in touch with one another, or at the very least, know that we're not alone. Another defining feature is that we're compassionate, often quite deeply empathic. We actually care about other people, whether we know them or not. That's our tribe, right? And we're not alone. We're a part of a tribe. We're growing in numbers. We're increasingly finding each other. And this is a fantastic development, and one that I'm really pleased to facilitate. I'm glad to hold the center on it. I'm learning from it, and I'm growing within it. I'm having to become a much better, higher version of myself than I've been to really step into this role. It's a good role. I like it. As one prime example, it's been my great honor to meet and now work closely with the frontline COVID critical care doctors. Their integrity, their work ethic, their compassionate approach. I mean, these doctors are world class. They're just amazing people, though. And they're amazing doctors. They got big hearts, even bigger cojones, right? They've risked everything, reputation, jobs, you name it. It's been, who knows what else they're risking given the ugly state of the world we live in. Maybe a little farmer retribution, who knows, right? Who knows? Their treatment protocols and recommendations, they're finally getting the respect and attention that they deserve. They've recently been before the Senate, as you know, but also an NIH panel that states the COVID treatment guidelines. And I'm really quite hopeful that those treatment protocols are going to be favorably amended soon to include a positive recommendation, or at least a neutral recommendation. And there are new trials coming out all the time. This whole story is really exploding, and I couldn't be happier. So the thing that I really like the most is the integrity of these people. It's just such an honor to be able to interact with them. And being around them has pretty drastically altered my view of what I want to say to the world and how I'm going to say it. That's all under development, but the gist of it is being more humble, more human, more real, because it's just time. I mean, it is time to really lean into this opportunity to reach more people and to rescue the future as much as that's possible. We need to expand our tribe. We need to include as many people as we possibly can. And maybe you're wondering, so here's how I describe the people I'd most like to reach. Conscientious stewards. That's a pretty good descriptor of me, so I think I'll be on pretty comfortable territory as we cover new topics and territory over the coming weeks and months around that. Conscientious steward. I mean, does that ring true as a descriptor for you? Are you thoughtful and wish to leave behind a better world? Maybe use your gifts and energy to help yourself and others? Yeah, conscientious stewards. If so, fantastic. We're brothers and sisters on this journey of life. And our first task is to see if we can get some sanity to prevail around something I consider to be dead simple. It's using cheap, safe, proven effective, off-patent drugs as frontline therapies during a pandemic. I mean, if we can do that, attend to our own health and healing, then maybe we can come together and rally around the more difficult future predicaments we all face, right? Things like disappearing species or a deeply divisive and unfair system of money. I mean, here's why I'm scared. It's anything but certain that we're going to succeed in this battle, although I think we will. But even if we do, and we get ivermectin passed and we bring sanity back to COVID treatments, think of how hard that was and the ugly, relentless resistance within the system to doing the right things, like communicate the logic of masks or run fair and rapid trials of promising drugs. I mean, if those things were almost too hard, then is it maybe too much to hope or dare that we can thoughtfully attend to things like ecosystem stresses in time, or find a way to reform that deeply unfair and divisive system of money, or figure out how to transition away from fossil fuels on our own terms, not geology's relentless math of depletion and decline? Which, by the way, is going to be really rough. That's going to be really, those predicaments they worry me a lot. I'm scared. We might not rally in time. That's a possibility here. We might continue to be dummies and not follow actual science and not do the right things and not be smart about establishing our priorities. But you know what? It doesn't have to be that way. And I'm hopeful. Here's why I'm hopeful. Because I know we can do better. And because I meet people every day who are doing better. And I'm hopeful because you're there listening to this right now, and because I have the incredible good fortune of being in contact with a rapidly growing tribe of amazing, strong, powerful people who are deciding for themselves how to be, how to think, and what to feel. And it's time to set aside what I consider to be petty differences and focus on the incredibly worthy, but also massive challenges we face nationally as a culture and globally as a species at this point. We don't have time to be divided and distracted. Nor is that really any fun. I mean, what? Being even more isolated during a lonely pandemic? No thanks. So, yeah, I'm scared. And I'm hopeful. We all hang in that balance between scared and hopeful. Things they could go in either direction. Well, what do we do about it? It all begins with having the right context. For example, once you have the right context about, say, vitamin D, the next step, taking action, it's obvious and easy, right? Take vitamin D. And that's my gift. I can set the stage for these conversations, and I have passion, I got energy and abundance to do that, right? Which brings me to this. Back here behind the scenes, right over that wall over there, we've decided to change up the format of this show. I'm going to be presenting this show in a live format soon, within a week or two. I've been building the studio nearby. It's been like 2 solid days of hammering, mudding, painting, but it should be ready soon. And I'll announce when the live show is going to start. But here's my request of you. I'd love your feedback here. Would you watch? What topics would you want covered? Which guests would you want to see most? How many days per week would you like it to run? Like, how often do you want to hear this voice, right? More importantly, what time should it run? Give your answers in Eastern time, because that's where I live. I think it's going to be really cool, and it means that instead of me recording something, which you can then react to, like now, you become part of the show. The live chat will be displayed, and your questions and comments might become part of the show, and it's a way of, it's a way of taking one more step closer. So, again, let me know all your thoughts on that, positive or negative. I'll take it all, and I'll get back to hammering and putting up sheetrock now tonight. And in the meantime, thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to this channel. Resubscribe as necessary, because you never know, you might have been unsubscribed. And of course, smash the like button, because that's how you let YouTube know if you approve of this sort of content, if you want to see more of it, if you want others to find it, those sorts of things. So, hey, thank you so much for listening. I'm really excited for what the future is going to hold in terms of, I'm really hopeful. And I'm really excited to be here with you on this journey. And I think we have a real chance to assemble an amazing tribe of people. And I can't wait. I can't wait, because it's been an amazing ride so far. We're making a difference. We got to keep making a difference. The future does need rescuing. And it's time to get out of fear and divisiveness and up into our hearts and into our minds. So that's it. That's what this is all about. Thanks so much for listening. See you next time.